Right now, if your salary stopped for 30 days, how long could you survive? Look around your room, your phone, your laptop, your shoes, that cup of tea or coffee next to you. Everything here was bought with time, hours of your life. Most people are stuck in the same loop. Wake up, work, paycheck, bills, repeat. That is the paycheck trap. But here is the crazy part. You do not need millions to escape it. Today I will show you why 40,000 is enough to break free if you use it correctly. Not gambling, not crypto hype, not get-rich-quick nonsense. Just smart investing, mindset shifts, and patience, boss invest style. Stay till the end, because one mistake can keep you trapped forever. The paycheck trap isn't really about how much money you make. It's about dependence. That's the part most people miss. You can be earning $2,000 a month and feel stressed, or you can be earning $10,000 a month and still feel just as anxious. Why? Because if that paycheck disappears, everything stops. Rent, food, bills, lifestyle, gone. That's not security, that's survival mode, wearing a fancy outfit. Think about it like this. Imagine you get a raise. You're excited, so you upgrade your phone, move to a nicer place, eat out more, maybe buy a better car. Nothing wrong with enjoying life. But now your expenses rise right along with your income. You're still waiting for the next paycheck, just at a higher level. It's like being on a treadmill. You're running faster every year, sweating more, working harder, but you're not actually moving forward. Same spot, different speed. The real trap is not work itself. Working is fine. The problem is needing your paycheck just to breathe, needing it to pay rent, needing it to eat, needing it to feel safe. When your entire life depends on that one source of income, you don't have choices, you have obligations. That's where stress comes from. That's where burnout lives. The real goal is not to quit your job tomorrow. That's a fantasy for most people. The real goal is to slowly build a situation where if your paycheck is late, reduced, or even gone, your life doesn't collapse, where something else is helping carry the weight. That's why this idea matters so much. Income gives comfort, assets give freedom. Income makes life nicer today. Assets protect your life tomorrow. Say it again, because this mindset shift changes everything. Income gives comfort, assets give freedom. Think of $40,000 like a seed. On its own, it doesn't look impressive. It's not a mansion, it's not a supercar, and it's definitely not retire tomorrow money. In fact, to most people, it feels almost disappointing. But that's exactly how a seed looks. Small, ordinary, easy to underestimate. Yet that tiny thing holds the potential to become something much bigger if you treat it the right way. Here's where the analogy really matters. A seed only works if you plant it in the right soil. In money terms, that soil is assets that grow. Things like businesses, index funds, dividend investments, or skills that increase your earning power. Then you water it consistently. That's patience, regular reinvestment, and not pulling your money out every time you get emotional or bored. And finally, you give it time. No digging it up every week to check if it's working. Growth happens quietly at first. Most people never get past this stage because they eat the seed. They see $40,000 and immediately translate it into a new phone, a nicer car, or a few flashy vacations. And don't get me wrong, those things feel good. But only for a moment. It's like eating a full bag of seeds. You enjoy one meal, but you give up years of harvest. The boss mindset flips this completely. Instead of asking, what can I buy with this money? You ask, what can this money build for me? Step by step, that $40,000 starts working while you sleep, while you work, while you live your life. One seed turns into a tree. Then that tree produces fruit again and again. That's why $40,000 matters. Not because of what it buys today, but because of what it can feed you for decades if you plant it instead of spending it. Escaping the paycheck trap really comes down to one simple idea, and once you understand it, everything starts to click. Your assets need to cover your basic expenses. That's it. Not your luxury lifestyle, not fancy upgrades, just the essentials that keep your life stable. Think of it like building a floor under your feet. As long as that floor is solid, you don't feel like you're about to fall every month. Let's walk through it slowly with real numbers, because clarity kills confusion. Imagine your monthly expenses look like this: $600 for rent, $300 for food, and about $100 for utilities and internet. Nothing crazy, nothing extravagant. That adds up to $1,000. A month. Over a year, that's $12,000. This number is powerful because it's specific. It's no longer "I need more money." It's "I need $12,000 per year coming in without me trading hours for it." Now here's the shift. The moment your investments, side income, or assets start generating that $12,000 a year, something changes inside you. You're no longer desperate. You're not saying yes to every bad job, every toxic client, every extra hour just to survive. You start negotiating differently. You think more clearly. That constant pressure in your chest starts to disappear. It's like having a backup oxygen tank. You're still breathing, still moving forward, still working, but you're not panicking. And once you reach that point, even partially, you gain leverage. Cover half your expenses and you've already bought yourself freedom of choice. Cover all of them and you gain peace, real peace. From there, anything extra you earn isn't survival money anymore, it's growth money. And that's when life starts to feel very different. Let's slow this down and walk through it carefully, because this part is where everything becomes real. Numbers remove emotion and replace it with clarity. So imagine you take $40,000 and you invest it sensibly, not chasing hype, not swinging for the fences, but aiming for a reasonable 10% annual return. That's not a fantasy number. Historically, it's achievable over time with disciplined investing and patience. Now do the math. 10% of $40,000 is $4,000. A year. That doesn't sound life-changing, and that's okay. Divide that by 12 months, and you're looking at roughly $333 a month. This is where people often get disappointed and stop listening. They think, that's it? But this is where the mindset shift happens. Ask yourself honestly, what does $333 actually do for your life? That can cover your groceries for the month, or your utilities and internet, or your phone, subscriptions, and transportation. One entire category of stress just disappears, and that's huge. Because once one bill is handled automatically, your paycheck stops feeling like a countdown timer. Think of it like loosening a tight knot. You don't untie it in one pull. You loosen it strand by strand. This $333 is one strand. You're still working, still earning, but now part of your life is being paid for whether you show up or not. That's pressure relief. That's breathing room. And once you feel that relief, something changes psychologically. You make better decisions. You're not desperate. You don't panic when something goes wrong. You're calmer, more focused, more patient. This is how freedom actually begins, not with fireworks or quitting your job overnight, but quietly, almost boringly in the background. One small stream turns into two, then three, and over time that quiet progress adds up to real control over your life. Let me walk you through this in a simple, practical way, because escaping the paycheck trap isn't about one big move. It's about a few smart steps done in the right order. The first step is lowering your survival cost, and this is where people underestimate how powerful simplicity is. Freedom is actually cheaper than most people think. If your monthly expenses are $1,500 and you can realistically bring them down to $1,000, you didn't just save $500. You permanently reduced how much your life costs. That means the amount of passive income you need to feel safe just dropped by thousands every year. It's like lowering the height of a wall you're trying to climb. The shorter the wall, the easier the escape. That's why the rule matters so much. The less you need, the freer you are. Once your expenses are under control, the next step is being smart with the $40,000 instead of dumping it all into one thing and hoping for the best. Spreading it out keeps emotions in check. Imagine putting $20,000 into broad index funds or ETFs for steady growth, $10,000 into dividend-paying assets that create cash flow, $5,000 into a skill or small business that can increase your income, and keeping $5,000 in cash as a buffer. That buffer is critical. It's what stops you from panic selling when markets dip or life throws a surprise at you. Calm investors make better decisions. Then comes the hardest part for most people, reinvesting everything in the early stage. No lifestyle upgrades, no reward purchases just yet. Every dollar your investments or side income generate goes right back into the system. Think of it like building a machine. First, all the energy goes into making it stronger. This is how compounding starts working for you instead of against you. You delay gratification now, so future, you can live with options, flexibility, and real peace. Compounding is one of those ideas that sounds simple but feels boring at the start. which is why most people never benefit from it. Think of it like rolling a snowball down a hill. At the very top, the snowball is tiny. You push it and it barely changes. It feels pointless, like nothing is happening, and you start wondering why you even bothered. That's exactly how compounding feels in the beginning. Your investments grow slowly, the numbers barely move, and there's no excitement. But here's what most people don't realize. The snowball is still rolling, even when it looks small. Every step down the hill, it quietly picks up more snow. In money terms, this is when your returns start earning returns. Your gains begin to stack on top of each other. Halfway down the hill, you finally notice it. The balance starts increasing faster, and now the growth feels real. This is where patience starts paying off. At the bottom of the hill, the snowball is unstoppable. You're no longer pushing hard, gravity is doing the work. This is what compounding looks like after years of consistency. Your money grows not because you're adding more effort, but because time and momentum are working together. Most people quit at the top because it feels boring and slow. Bosses understand. That boring is good. They stay long enough for momentum to kick in, knowing that once it does, the results feel almost effortless compared to the early days. Now let's stretch the timeline, because this is where patience turns into power. Imagine taking that same $40,000 and leaving it invested at a steady 10% for 10 years. No panic selling, no jumping in and out, just letting time do its job. At the end of those 10 years, that $40,000 doesn't just double. It grows to around $103,000. That's the quiet effect of compounding working in the background. Now look at what that number does for you. 10% of $103,000 is about $10,300 a year. Break that down monthly, and you're looking at roughly $858 coming in every month. That's not just a small bill covered anymore. That can handle rent in some cities, or rent plus utilities, or a big chunk of your living costs. And the best part is, you didn't have to work extra hours for it. It's coming from assets you built years earlier. Here's where it gets exciting. This isn't happening in isolation. At the same time, you've probably built new skills, maybe a side income, maybe a small business, maybe dividend streams that pay you regularly. When you combine all of that, you're no longer focused on escaping stress or surviving month to month. You start expanding your options. You can choose better work, take smarter risks, or simply enjoy more peace. This is what long-term thinking looks like. Small decisions today turning into real control over your future. Here's the biggest mistake most people make when they start thinking about financial freedom. They want it fast. They want the shortcut, the hack, the one move that changes everything overnight. And that mindset is exactly what keeps them stuck. Fast money feels exciting, but fast money usually comes with fast losses. It pushes people into risky decisions, emotional trades, and promises that sound too good to be true. And when things go wrong, confidence gets crushed. The boss mindset looks boring from the outside, and that's why it works. It's slow, consistent, and disciplined. It's setting up automatic investments, sticking to a plan even when nothing exciting is happening, and showing up month after month without applause. There's no rush, no panic, and no constant checking. You're building quietly, like laying bricks every day instead of trying to jump straight to the roof. A powerful shift happens when you stop trying to impress people around you. Most people spend money and take risks just to look successful. Bosses think differently. They care about impressing their future self, the version of them that wants stability, options, and peace of mind. That future version doesn't care how flashy the journey looked. And this part matters deeply. The goal isn't to quit work. Work can be meaningful and fulfilling. The real goal is to quit fear. Fear of bills, fear of losing a job, fear of saying no. When fear disappears, your decisions get calmer, smarter, and more aligned with the life you actually want. This part can save you years of pain, so listen closely. If anyone promises guaranteed returns, doubling your money in a few months, or says there's no risk, that's your signal to run the other way. Real investing doesn't make promises, it manages risk. Another red flag is your own behavior. If you're checking prices every hour, refreshing charts, feeling your mood change with every move, you're not investing anymore, you're gambling. And one rule you never break: never invest money you need to survive. Rent money, food money, emergency money, keep it safe. Once survival is on the line, emotions take over, logic disappears, and even good plans fall apart. Let me say this again, because this is the core truth everything else builds on. $40,000 doesn't buy luxury, and that's okay. It's not meant to impress anyone or change your life overnight. What it buys is leverage. Leverage means your money starts helping you instead of you doing all the work alone. That leverage slowly buys you time to think, time to choose better options, time without panic. And when you have time, you have freedom. Real freedom isn't flashy, it's calm. So say it again, write it down somewhere you'll see it, and remember it when you're tempted to spend instead of build. You're not late, and you're definitely not stupid. Most people were simply never taught how this stuff actually works, and that's not your fault. No one sits you down and explains money, saint. EP by step. Every boss investor you admire started exactly where you are. Confused, unsure, and second-guessing themselves. They didn't have special talent or secret information. What they had was consistency. They took small steps, made mistakes, learned, and kept going even when progress felt slow. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. You wobble at first, but you don't quit. If they could build confidence and momentum over time, so can you. Just keep showing up. If this video helped things click for you, do me a quick favor and hit the like button. It tells the algorithm this kind of real, practical content actually matters and helps it reach people who need it. Subscribe if you want clear, no BS investing strategies that focus on building freedom, not hype, every single week. And remember this, no one escapes the paycheck trap overnight. It happens one decision at a time, one smart move stacked on top of the next. Stay patient, stay consistent, and keep showing up for yourself. I'll see you in the next one.